So, what is it, New Zealand? Um, what it? Why? Why is it that? Why is it that there's a West Coast engineer in the '60s who makes a, a water generated engine that's apparently successful? Why is it that that gets disappeared? Why is it New Zealand that Burt Munro, the Invercargill motorbike guy, was hated in his environment and yet won an American Speedway award? New Zealand. Why is that? Um, why is it that I create some of the most beautiful um, expressions of neo-colonial cultural schism and triumph of the spirit that are universally enjoyed and liked when they're actually seen? Um, this has been confirmed this morning in a phone call with a Belgian art dealer. Truck drivers and curators, he said, really like your work when they see it. Um, and I find that too. Uh, not to say that everyone likes my work or should like it. Not everyone likes art. Not everyone likes poetry. And yet, everyone has a human soul. And so, what is it that makes me an outsider then? Like, um, how come I've got a house full of incredible artworks, and yet every time I roll up, my big problem with art galleries, dealer galleries, as it were, is the problem with me is I rock up with a van full of work, and I say, take what you want. Usually, I mean, and then I get confused around, you know, my my psychic sovereignty in the process of letting others have my free labor for free to promote their businesses, of course, and their egos and agendas. What I surmise, New Zealand, is that without sounding grandiose and arrogant, for that sin, what I surmise is that quite often artists research aspects of their own psyche and their own history and their own ancestors to a degree which they're compelled to, that most other people don't. So what I'm sort of getting at is the self knowledge from internal reflection is actually greater in most cases from me than the people that I'm showing with. So I routinely get minimised and bullied and talked down to by arrogant gallerists. One particular chap in Dunedin here is famous for putting artists down. His name's Stephen Higginson. Absolute cocksucker. He's like a used car salesman. Um, interesting schism. I mean, a failed poet himself. We're all failed artists in the art world, of course, and myself included. Like, I'm not quite who I could be. I'm working with what I got, and I'm quite pleased with the results sometimes. Like who does author reality? Does reality author reality? I'm reading about it in a Peter Kingsley book at the moment about Jung's notion of the unconscious as a bubbling lava. We don't get to dictate where bubbling lava streams from. You don't control that. You adapt around the forces of the unconscious, and I can certainly see the truth of that. Like I'm I'm drawing deeply from these texts, from this man's research into Jung, and the problem of Jungians afterwards, of course. It's a deep spiritual and philosophical and prophetic sort of investigation of this book. I'm very intrigued indeed. Yeah, I've never felt so understood. In fact, so it's comforting on one level, and yet humbling on another. Yeah, my main point of this riveting face talking to you at the moment is, why is it that really interesting art is repressed and denied in New Zealand? When it's true and genuine and people like it. Yeah, what is it about the safe, academic, cookie-cutter, middle-class bourgeois that actually likes timid veneer cowardice and fashionable makeover semantics as opposed to the real thing? Like, we like native bush when it's next to our motorway. Like we'll plant out natives, around to virtue signal that we're down with it, but really we dump 1080 in the bush, hey. And there are tankers taking away New Zealand water to China to bottle. True story right now. It's like, fucking idiots. Don't you know what you got? Don't you know what you got? Don't you know what you got? Yeah. Oh, well, the woman in me, loves you very much.